to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States. I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President and Executive Director of the Emerald Planet. We started in 1973, and so we're bringing you the best information and the best practices that we can find in these 143 different nations. And we say we're looking for the 1,000 best practices, but actually we're already there. And so now we're shooting for 10,000 best practices. And I have three gentlemen with me from Rotary International involved in what I think is just an absolutely unique and fantastic project in restoring the oysters to St. Mary's River and to clean up the water that's flowing into the Chesapeake Bay, which actually ends up into the Atlantic Ocean. So I have sitting right beside me Robert Bob Parkinson, who is the District Governor for Rotary International, 7620, and he's an oysterman himself. He's a manager for a project there in Maryland. We have Stephen L. King, who is the chair for Rotary International District 7620 again. This is a Future Visions water projects, and Steve will talk about what Future Visions actually mean. And then Dr. Christopher Puttock, my buddy from the Monarch Butterfly Project. He's a research associate at the Smithsonian Institution, the National Museum of Natural History, and myself. Chris, talking about the restoring the oysters in the bay, what is the benefits of this kinds of project that is really literally hands-on? You're walking into the water, you're moving mud, you're pouring concrete. You know, this is the essence of a service project.
Right. The benefits are, you get the public involved. There's a lot of people that can be involved with in the voluntary way to actually make this work. And the more people we have working on it, the better they have an understanding of why these organisms in particular are important.
Well, looking at this photograph here, we have a lot of people lined up. I know these are volunteers through the Rotary clubs, but also, Steve, being the chair of this project, you're actually reaching out and collaborating with a great number of organizations. Why using Rotary as a base? Why the collaboration? And then give us a sense of how extensive this collaboration is.
Well, yes, it is extensive. We're working with St. Mary's College of Maryland, who happens to also be they provide the academic expertise. They happen to be the adjacent property owner. We're involving the Rotaract Club there, the students in the Rotaract Club at St. Mary's College of Maryland, and eventually we hope to involve the entire faculty and students of the college. We are also working with the St. Mary's River Watershed Association and all of their members. And we're doing that because both of those groups have the expertise that we don't have. This needs to be a sustainable project. So once Rotary's part of the project is completed, in terms of the construction, it's going to be the Watershed Association and the college to make sure that the reefs are maintained properly, that they're monitored. We will be monitoring these reefs for the quality of the oyster or the rate of the oyster growth, problems that may occur in the growth of the oysters, water quality, this sort of thing, for a number of years afterwards, so that we can document the superior habitat that this type of a reef provides.
Now, looking at this, Bob, you're a district governor of Rotary. That means a whole lot because there's a lot of work involved in that. It takes a number of years to get into that position, but also you're an oysterman yourself, and so this is part of your profession and the background of your family out in this area on the St. Mary's River area. And we're looking at these oyster balls. Now, to me, they look like domes, but I'm told I have to call them balls. But why this design, and how does this really help? Now I'm going to the oystermen themselves and the livelihood, the economy of the area. Why are these important, and what are they going to be able to do for the economy and the environment?
Well, the oyster ball is not solid. You know, so it's got a hole in the middle of it. That allows oysters to fill up the inside. They attach, theoretically, we think they're going to attach to these oysters, depends on the time of year, and grow, spawn, hatch, grow, spawn, and pretty soon, we don't have a picture of it, but you can see some places where these balls have been put in place, and they're just populated with oysters. You can't see the ball.
That's just absolutely incredible. And looking at this is, I understand from Chris, we were sharing earlier, these are quite inexpensive.
Yeah, I think what are we talking about? 3 bags of concrete, 4 bags of concrete?
What are we talking about,
like
Chris,
that.
as far as the cost of one of these?
The cost is the raw material cost is around about $18 per oyster ball. You got labor on top of that, and you've got a delivery of concrete. So we're looking at what the retail price is around about $100 per oyster ball that we have, and each one of those balls will serve to support around about 200 oysters. So you can do the math on how much water can be processed by a 3-year-old oyster. If one oyster processes 55 gallons of water a day, and you've got 200 oysters on each ball, this is it's a water cleaning unit that's going to process a lot of water a day.
Well,
and every year, much more.
Well, I understand from Steve, this is something that was happening every 3 days. I think you were sharing with me,
Yes.
is that with a number of oysters, they could actually literally clean the whole bay.
Every 3 days.
And the bay is not a small body of water.
No, it isn't. It's the largest estuary in North America.
And that's an incredible amount. But looking at it from your background, you have a water background. You
Yes.
worked with potable water, also wastewater treatment and all that. What is the long-term benefit of having these oysters out there, and to grow the oysters so organically and naturally you're starting to clean the bay?
It's the only way that we can truly clean up the Chesapeake Bay and restore the water quality. That's the purpose of the project. Until you restore Mother Nature's natural algae filtration system, which was the oyster, it's important to control the amount of human-induced nutrients going into the bay. But doing that alone is not going to result in the improvement of the bay water quality. I was involved for over 30 years reducing the point source of nitrogen and phosphorus. And a lot of progress has been made during that period. There's also been progress made on non-point source. But as you know, Sam, the quality of the bay has deteriorated despite the efforts that have been made so far.
Yeah, and it's hundreds of millions of dollars, Steve, that has actually been put into this to
Yes.
clean up the bay, and it just seems to keep getting worse.
Well, it's because it's important that we continue to do that and we reduce it lower, because the excess nitrogen and phosphorus is making the problem even worse than it is already. It's already bad because the natural filtration system is gone, and this has caused the amount of algae to be out of balance with Mother Nature's needs. So what we're trying to do is, while the effort to reduce the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus, excess nitrogen and phosphorus that's going into the bay, take place, we're trying to restore the Mother Nature's natural filtration system, so we can get the algae back in balance by those oysters, which, as Chris said, at 55 gallons a day for a 3-inch oyster, they can filter a lot of water. We're trying to restore, our ultimate goal of this project is restore 35,000 acres of the 70,000 acres that used to exist in the bay.
Yeah, that's just amazing. And Bob, as you know, I think this project that you're working on through the Future Visions program of Rotary International is about 3 acres, a little bit over 1 hectare of an area. Looking at it as a Rotarian and also as a businessman in the oysters, how do you see this balance between a civic organization like Rotary International getting involved and working with the oystermen in this area, the ones that really depend on the water of the oyster for their livelihood?
Well, the whole purpose of this is sustainability, and as Chris mentioned in the earlier segment, the oysters are going to be sustainable. What that means is they'll reset themselves. But the river already has places where they can reset, so they'll migrate off this reef into the rest of the river, and those always, and downriver, which is outside of the sanctuary, that's where the watermen actually are picking up oysters and harvesting today. We hope to improve that for them, as well as the sanctuary side of the river.
Well, Chris, you've been involved, and that's how we met. Actually, it was through the Monarch Butterfly program. We're going to put another plug for Bill Den and all this. But there were actually, I think, lessons learned in that project really is a North American project. These principles you're applying into this Oyster development program. What do you see some of the parallels of those?
Well, the parallels, certainly in terms of education, we can work through schools, so there are parallels there. There are parallels in terms of the damage we've done to the environment across the nation by reducing the fields that grow milkweed for the monarch. We've reduced the number of acres of oyster reef, down from 70,000 acres of oyster reef down to virtually nothing. So in terms of devastation, we've really we've done a number on everything. But in terms of what we can do, we can get everybody from school children all the way up to third age people to really work and be engaged in the projects.
Bob, you wanted to expand on this notion of the reef and the importance of that. Share that with us.
Well, what I'd really like to make a plug for is join us at our website, which is rereefthebay.org.
Once more.
rereefthebay.org.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And there you can look and see what we're doing, stay up to speed with what we're doing. And I think shortly we should have a way to be able to help.
They can do that right now.
So you can help us financially. Mm-hmm. You can buy oyster spat on shell, you can buy reef balls, you can buy the entire mound by a donation to our.
When you say buy, it means you're going to donate to end that, because we can't sell things on EmeraldPlanet, so we want to stay with the realms of what we're doing.
Right.
But Steve, looking at what you've been doing, again, you have over 30 years in this whole thing as far as water quality, and as the fact is, you were actually doing it.
Yes.
But it's amazing how you see how these tiny little oysters have such a huge impact, not only here, the Chesapeake Bay, the Atlantic, but really for the globe.
Yes. Yep. Well, we've devastated these natural filter feeders throughout the world, and we're paying the price for that in the poor water quality that has resulted. It's really simple when you think about it, Sam. If you turn the filter off on a swimming pool for 364 days of the year and only turn it on once a year, why would you be surprised if it wasn't green with algae all year long?
Yeah.
That's what's happened to the bay, and that's what's happened to the oceans and many of the estuaries throughout the world.
As we create the Emerald Planet.